No, but great, and welcome. Last session, seen a lot of people dropping off, but I'm really glad to have you here, so thank you for joining. I'll be talking about Azure AI specifically, and it's my point of view pretty much on how you get started using it and how I use it, how I start new projects pretty much. So that is the view what I will cover in this session. And well, who am I? I will do a little bit more of an introduction later on, but I'm the CTO for Data and AI for Sochi Sweden. But I'm a hands-on coder, so I try to code every day. So I do around like 60 to 80% of my time I spend with actual clients and do like projects. So I try to code every day, but I'm mostly a solution architect. That's a little bit of my focus, what I do day to day, so to say. Good. This list, it's pretty much all the different AI services that exist in Azure. And it's good for you, because we will get into it, but you don't need to care about the different services pretty much anymore. But this is how it looks and how it looks in the background. So all of the different services cover different sort of things, all the way from like language things to vision-specific things, speech, that sort of thing. So it covers all the different kind of scenarios. It's not only generative AI either. The bottom service, as you see, Azure Machine Learning, it covers machine learning, as it says. So it's a separate service that still is not included within the package that I will show you. It's a separate service, but in some cases it's a little bit included. But this looks like, oh, do I need to know all of this? No, you don't, and that's a good thing that I will cover as well. But jumping into it, as I said, a little bit more of an introduction, not only on the working side, but who am I? Well, on my spare time, I really love to dance. So I do have dance practices 4 times a week. It's both bug and like ballroom dancing, so spend a lot of time on that, and outdoors activities like skiing, hiking, fishing, love that sort of thing. That's my like disconnect from work, what I do. And yeah, I'll have a little bit over a decade. I always lose track on how long I've spent, but I think it's going up to like 1.5 decades now, like 15 years or something like that I've spent in the business. And the last like 9 years has been focused on mostly like cloud and Azure sort of things. But outside of that, I'm also part of the Microsoft Responsible AI Innovation Center. It's a really long thing, naming-wise, but yeah, it's an innovation center that has responsible AI as a part of it that companies can come to and get help from Microsoft and partners that can help out with your scenario, what you come with. It can be workshops or whatever, that sort of thing. And I also do these sort of things, public speaking, and I contribute a lot to open source, both in projects I do, but also in my spare time, quite extensively. And because of the last 2 things, I'm something called Microsoft Most Valuable Professional, MVP for short. And I am that within 2 different categories, both within AI and IoT as well. So I'm dual category, that sort of thing. But enough about me. The thing I will talk mostly about is, again, my way on how I like to get started with projects and how I work with these sort of things as well, and how I utilize all the different AI services that is available. So there is like a step-by-step on how you usually get started when you do these kinds of projects. And the first thing, in most cases, and it says specifically Gen AI, because it's a little bit different when it comes to like machine learning, something called MLOps. But within Gen AI, how you usually get started is you pick your model. What am I actually going to start with and run with? It could be like a GPT model or DeepSeek or Grok or whatever, yeah, for the case that you need to run. That's a starting point in most cases. But after that, you usually need to do some sort of customization. It can be fine-tuning the model itself, or like something called LoRa as well, that you one specific way of fine-tuning models, but a more like slow-scale way of doing it. That sort of thing is usually the next step, if needed. It's not always needed. And after that, you need to add on, in most cases, some sort of knowledge or tools to be used with this. If it's an agent, I mean, it's not an agent if you don't do things usually. That's what people differentiate it to often. So you add on tools or that sort of knowledge. It could be your company data or that sort of thing as well. That gets added. And after that, the last 3 things are quite similar, but a little bit different in the different cases. But you need some sort of orchestration. It could be like the Gen AI ops. How do I get it out to production? What do I run it on, and how do I maintain it long term? That sort of thing. So thinking about that sort of thing. And also when it's out and you're running it and you have people using it, then you need to build on trust into it. Like evaluate how it's actually performing and see what it actually does. And after that, of course, the observability. So not only observability from a performance perspective, but it can also be from a usability perspective, like feedback-wise, how do we actually perform? If I ask something, do you get the right question, the right answer or not? That sort of thing, that sort of observability. And again, from Microsoft's perspective right now, because we're talking about Azure AI services specifically, they have combined all of the services that I showed you before into one, pretty much. So they have something called Azure AI Foundry, which all of these different AI services is part of. And I will show you a lot more, like demo-wise, how it actually looks and how you get started in it. But this is the service combining all of that. So you have all of the different models that you can pick and choose from, and the different, like, if it is language-based things, if you need vision, that sort of thing, everything is in there, and you don't need to care about the services behind anymore, like you used to. They update this all the time, so it changes. Like, if I would show you something demo-wise tomorrow, it would probably be different, because it changes like all the time, and they modify how it looks and what it can do, like every day, pretty much. So it's hard to keep track on what's actually going on there, but they're moving more and more of the service into it. The last thing that is not available still, that I said, is Azure Machine Learning. That's still a separate portal that you can go. It uses some of the components in AI Foundry as well, but the full experience of running machine learning, it's still outside of Foundry. For now, it's not going to be that for long. So they're planning to change that and getting it more and more included as well. So everything is going to be in Azure AI Foundry. So if you're looking into running things Azure AI-wise, this is the thing to start and look at, pretty much. And again, the landscape and the ecosystem, how it looks, it's extensive. It's a lot of things that is included in this. You have everything in the top layer there, so you can design with the best like sort of models that is available, pick and choose. It's both OpenAI ones, and there's like Hugging Face ones, as I said, like DeepSeek, Grok, bunch of different models. There's so many available in AI Foundry. So yeah, again, it makes it hard to do the first part, pick the model when you have that many. But that's another thing. And then in the middle, you can customize. So again, in that kind of workflow that I showed you, the next part of customizing, there's a lot of ways of customizing. You can both do it with like first-party tooling and third-party tooling as well. So there's some parts from Microsoft, open source-wise, and also some like partners and things that include services that you can use for that sort of customization with fine-tuning and that sort of thing as well. And in the bottom, of course, how you manage your performance. So that's the observability layer, and see how building the trust and see how it actually performs. That's the bottom two parts here. So the performance one, and then the trustworthy AI is the trust part, of course. But let's not spend too much more time on this. I want to show you instead how it actually looks and what you can do with it. So at the side here, you see there's a lot of ways and also to how you interact with this service. So you can do it from Copilot Studio, can utilize this, and you can do it from your favorite IDE or that sort of thing. But for making it a demo, let's instead jump into the actual AI Foundry service itself. It's easier to demo in this sort of way. But let's do that. Do you see, by the way, or should I do? I don't like this, but I'm giving you the option to choose light mode instead. It hurts in my developer heart, but would it be better with light mode, do you think? Or is it okay? You can see? I saw some sessions before, it glared a little bit, but as long as you can see them, then good. Let's go. And in here, again, you will see this repeating all the time. In the bottom, first off, like in the overview, you can see some like API keys and how you interact with this service, because again, it is a service that you can do like API calls towards all the time. It's coding based. But in the bottom here, that pattern repeats once again now. Instead of what I said now, there's these 4 parts, but it's the same things that is included in it. Define and explore, picking the right model, experimenting with that model and actually picking the right one that for your use case. Customize, as you see, build and customize. So start building the actual thing you're going to do. There's some templates that you can take help with based on that. The next part, observability. So observe and optimize, that you can do like debugging, tracing, that sort of thing, monitor your application, and then protect and govern, so that the trust and observability part are in done as well. So you can evaluate your solutions and see how it actually performs, set guardrails, that sort of thing. But so the first part then, if you come in there, you can see these things and it gives you some options what you can do, but where do I start then? So again, if you go to that way of working, you start with the actual models then there is a model catalog, something they call. If you jump over to that one, you will see a bunch of different models. There are some like leaderboards in the top there, like performance-wise, to see how they actually perform. And in the bottom here, you can see all the models that is available. This one is a special kind of like subscription. So I only in this one have 126 models. But if we go to this one and actually check out them, see all the models, like in the proper model catalog, how many are available? It's a lot there, 11,356. And there's more every day. Quite recently, actually, when I talked about this, it was like 1,000 or like 900 or something, and people were like, whoa, that's a lot of models. Now it's 11,000 models that is available. So it's a lot. Let's see if it can jump back there. Yep. But in this case then, so you pick your model and you have a list here to see for different kinds of scenarios how you want it to perform. You can just choose it. And if you click it here, then you can just do pretty much your own. So use your model. It will create your own endpoint, so you can start using the model within your Azure AI Foundry specifically, with your own like throttling limits and that sort of thing for your own use cases to start using. And if we check on mine that I have a lot of models deployed, of course. Mostly it's GPT-based, because that's what I'm using in this one. But there's something here called Model Router. And that one specifically does what I said. When you have 11,000 models, which one do I pick them? I mean, how can you pick and choose that one? It's really hard. What this one does, it's actually, it routes to the correct model for the specific question that you're trying to ask it. So if I use this in a chat, it can pick and choose between, let's see where we have that. It should be somewhere in the top here. Yeah, I think it's over here. Yeah, model routing. So you can see it can pick and choose between these different models. So it will pick the right one for the specific kind of question that you ask it. So yeah, there's the first part, your model catalog. But the second part, where I usually started then when I run a project, when I picked that sort of a model that I want to try out something with, you have the playground. And within the playground, there is a lot of different scenarios that you can pick and choose from here. As you see here, the chat playground, you have a video playground, image, audio, speech, that sort of thing. And there also is a lot of templates that you can use. So the templates are a specific scenario, you could say. So get started how you build an AI chat, for example, or how you get started with agents, multi-agents, that sort of thing, with automation, different multi-modalities, that sort of thing, how you modernize. There is a lot of open source and different templates that you can start using to get started with your use case and actually get further than start building it from scratch. But in the playgrounds, if we take some of them, for example, then like the chat playground, it's just you pick the model that you want to use, if you have that one, and then you can give it like a context, so you're setting like an instruction how it will be performed, and the knowledge part again, then here you can add your data. So if it is something that you want to run on your own data, you can add it in here. Quite simple. There's some different kinds of data sources that you can use, these ones. So you just click through this one and then get started with that. And you can set some parameters, like standard things that you build for your chat usually, like how many past messages do you include, max response temperature, like how creative it should be, that sort of thing. A lot of different parameters. But something that's really good about this one is that you can start here then and try to figure out what you want to do with the specific use case that you're building. But as a developer, of course, you want to do it code-wise. So if you configure things in here and then you click View Code, it will show you exactly what you have done in the playground and give you the code examples. And you can pick and choose the different kinds of languages that you want to use as well. So in this example, it starts out with Python, of course. But if you want to do something else, you have a list. And it's different based on the different playgrounds have different coding languages that it gives you. But it's always multiple ones. It's never only Python. It's different ones that you can actually choose from. And you can integrate and open it right away in this code if you want to as well. So it's really good examples that you can get started with here. But after that one then you have all of these different things in the bottom. I won't have time to show you all of them. There's an extensive way of working, of course, with this. But as you see here, it follows that structure once again. Pick your model, build and customize if you want to start with a template or get started with anything else. Fine-tuning, content understanding. And after that, you have the observe and optimize, and then protect and govern. So all of that, again, it's giving you that same pattern of working with it. Yes, and if I show you just another example here then, in the content understanding thing, it has a lot of like samples as well that you can do. So if you like try it out, and you can get like an invoice data extraction, for example. Let's pick that one. And it gives you an example documentation with an invoice. So in here you can just run it. And after a little while here, we will get a result, and it will do pretty much what it says. So an extraction of that data, and you can pick and see how it actually did that. And again, you always have the option to get this out as code. You can customize it. You can see the different fields that it's actually seen. Then you can get the result in JSON. Yep, a lot of different like customability you can do here. So it's a good starting point again to do it from here. So it's one of the different playgrounds once again. But other than that, let's check one thing. I tried to do a little bit of demo for it and pick out, but there is a video playground as well. And actually, I think it was like last night, I got access to Sora, so Sora 2, the new video generation model. I tried to do some examples with it, but you've probably seen it more and more. I've done at least. So if you scroll through Instagram, like half of the things is AI generated now. And most of it actually looks somewhat plausible, or you can believe it. Most of them are done with Sora 2. So it's a really good video generation model. It usually has like a watermark on the side with a logo with Sora, but people, of course, remove that as well. So yeah, but you can do a lot of things from here again. And the cool thing, because you can get this from OpenAI as well in their playground and do it. The difference when you do it here, when you generate something, again, is that you can get it in code. So you can run it here API-wise and build it into your proper solutions. So if I take these different examples that I did here, it will give you that full code on how you can do it as well, and then run it. So it's not only in the playground, you can start generating it here. So you can build it into your actual applications and just call it APIs instead, which I think is quite cool. This one, I haven't actually checked if it's, good. It's different languages as well. I was unsure, but you can get it. But these different examples, I did one like this one. Really bad prompt. That's why I got a bad result for both of them. But I just started to play with it, and I haven't done too much with Sora actually, to be honest. But I just said like somebody presenting at
talking about models in the cloud. We're talking about giving every developer the tools to. When we talk about building with Azure AI, we're not just
it actually generates it with speech, all of it. It's just one little text prompt. I said like, a developer or somebody speaking at a developer conference called DevLin2025, talking about how you build things with Azure AI, and they did that like an 8-second video on that like really bad prompt. But the other example that I did is something, I don't know if you've seen this, if anybody of you have. There's been a lot of content with Stephen Hawking specifically. Have you seen that? Like memes and things. And why they can do that is because Sora can use people that are deceased or people that have given their permission. So that's why they actually can do that. And I tried it out just to, of course I wanted.
Azure AI, we have taken theories and made them tools. Farmers predict yields with pixels. Doctors catch disease with Azure AI.
It wasn't that good. Again, not the best prompt, I know. But I said like Stephen Hawking standing and the same like having a speech at a conference talking about Azure AI. So yeah, he's out of his wheelchair. But that's like a starting point to what you actually can do here in Azure AI. And again, it's so much more to cover here. I've actually done like a full hour session about going through all of these things. So if you want to, I can send it out to you afterwards if you want to check that out. But how you actually evaluate the proper solution when you have built it, and how you see the performance in full production and that sort of thing as well. But again, because of that Stephen Hawking example, I actually added in one of them. So like a best of them existing. So these are the ones I'm talking about.
Look at the speed building on that chair. He's locked
big
in.
Pump coming up the wall.
Launching 420 tailspin attempt.
He loads it, can't find the landing.
Sideways.
Absolutely.
Big right hand from Martins. Hawking's guard is shaken.
He's trying
trying to keep that left up, but there's just nowhere for him to move.
It's not only that, I've seen a lot of like Stephen Hawking ones,
Trimming down the face of the X Games surf finals. The rail. That chairboard combo looks locked in. To the line. Reverse sells it. Smooth on the landing. Speed for the barrel. Deep in the tube.
You see the watermark in there. It should be part of all the videos, but it's not. But yeah, you're probably going to see more and more of this all the time. I'm getting spammed with this on my Instagram all the time. But yeah, some examples how it actually looks, what you can do with this model. And now with Azure, you can do it API-based, not only in a playground as well. So I think it's quite cool what you can do actually. But speaking of that, or getting back to reality, I would say instead, I will show you and end it off with a proper scenario on something that I've been part of building with a client. So this scenario specifically, it's for Husqvarna, by the way, and I've talked about it with them sometimes before, but they had a problem. Their specific thing in their manufacturing, on the night shifts, on when they do things in the factory, there is no back office, which means that there is nobody to call if things are standing still. And what it can be, why the machinery is standing still, it can be so many things. Like it can be mechanical, something is bent network, PLC programming, electrical outage, whatever. There's so many things that can happen. And it's really hard for people to know all of these things, of course, and to figure it out. And how do you figure it out? Well, how it's been before? Documentation, of course. But it's not in one place. Why would it be? Documentation is never in one place. And if you're familiar on how it looks in a factory, it's not only these like systems that you have like maintenance log and IT incidents, it's also like folders with paper out at the machinery. It looks like that, and it still does. So what we decided to actually do is to give these shop floor operators one interface instead. So one interface to connect to and ask these sort of questions or get help with instead. So we built something called Factory Companion. And I have a little bit of an example. This example is specifically like a process, like how do I switch the pallet on this specific machine in the on-off process and how that looks. And it gives you like an example, exactly how you do it. But not only that, you also get like a reference in the bottom. And if you click that, it will give you exactly where in the document it had that as well. So like an anchor in that documentation, because a lot of it is pictures, and pictures is still really hard to do with LLMs because it's language-based in most cases. So we're doing it like this instead to keep it simple, and then you can go to the actual part where it has that in the documentation. But not only that, like a specific process, you can also ask questions like this. What are the most common issues for a specific sort of machine? Because all of the things that we added in is both maintenance logs, it's IT incidents, it's machine documentation, troubleshooting guides. So then it can give you like the full thing, what are the most common issues based on the documentation of the machines, like IT incidents, maintenance logs, that sort of thing. So it looks through all of these systems and give you that, and references, of course, where it found that. So this is something that we're building at the moment, and to wrap it up a little bit, there is like a full customer use case story around this that is available. I will show you a QR code in the end, but where we talk about this, like fully what we did in this operation in more detail as well on the actual architecture and that sort of thing, if you're interested. And it's available there. So the one up to the left is that customer story. And other than that, if you want to connect with me, I'm mostly active on LinkedIn. So there's a QR code for that as well. And yeah, other than that, if we have some questions, we can take that first because I'm on time. I have a little bit more time left. So do we have any questions? Yeah.
Regarding this model router and stuff, have you done a comparison between this model router and different models and a very capable big model, which is better?
Okay, so if I've done, I'll repeat it for the recording. So if I've done a test with the model router compared to what?
I mean, the model router is a couple of different models comparing with a very capable big model.
No, that's not what it does. So it's not that it has the knowledge of these different models. So yeah, the question was the model router compared to like a big model, like GPT-5 or something like that, you mean, right? The thing is, the model router, it has availability to all of these models.
Model router plus all the different small models or good in their domain. This combination compared to GPT-5, for example.
Yeah, so again, just an explanation what the model router does. The model router has, for example, GPT-5 available as one of the models, but it has multiple other ones. So what it does for you, when you ask a question, it will route that question to a specific model. And those models that it routes it to is, for example, GPT-5, the different ones. It can be like Nano or Mini, depending on the question. It can be like some Mistral model in the backend as well. So it isn't that it's a model by itself. It's a router that will route you to the best serving model for the question that you're asking. That's what it does.
So still, it's not, there's no certain answer which is better. There's only most suitable use case for model router.
Yeah. The thing is, why you should use it is if you're uncertain on what kind of model that you should pick for your use case, then it's a good thing to do. After, if you see that one specific model performs the best, then you should go over to use that just fully. But what it does, it is just picking for the specific question differently all the time. Then it goes to a different kind of model, and it will change for every question that you ask. It will change model. So there is like no real comparison with that sort of thing because it does something different. I don't think I will. I can show you afterwards if you want to, but it picks different models. That's what it does pretty much. But I can show you what I mean. Yeah.
Is it free or does it cost?
No, it's not free. But the thing is, all of these models, how you pay for it, it's like pay as you go. So you do your own like provisioning of the model to get it available for you with APIs, and then you pay per token. So it's like a token-based cost, dependent on, I think it's like per 1,000 tokens. It is a certain amount. Pretty much. So no, it's not free. It's free to just have a model deployment, but when you use it, it is token-based. You get some of it for free, like some usage, but not that much. And after that, but I mean, it's not much money. The more beefy models, of course, cost more. But if you do the smaller ones, it is like 0.000 something dollars per 1,000 tokens. So it's not like massive costs, but it's not free. No. For demo case, I mean, everything I'm running here in my demo, I do it on like an MSDN subscription with like, 1,300, 400 kronor per month, something like that. And I can build a bunch of demos and show it without hitting that limit. So it's not super expensive, no. Good, but I think that's it. So thank you.